Welcome to this deep, cinematic 2-hour pick-a-card tarot reading exploring your future partner, lifelong companion, and the person you'll grow old with. Choose between two groups and let your intuition guide you toward the message meant for you. This reading covers who your long-term partner is, their personality, energy, and love language, the life you'll build together, how and when you'll meet, and what growing old together looks like. Whether you're manifesting love, seeking clarity, or simply curious, this timeless reading is designed to bring comfort, insight, and emotional resonance. But remember, what came through today was lovingly revealed by compassionate deities, your spirit guide, the angels, and the universe, all working together to offer you insight and clarity. Please remember, this reading is for entertainment purposes only. Life is always changing, and your path is shaped by your choices, actions, and the intentions you set. Nothing is set in stone, and your free will is your greatest power. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and above all, stay kind to yourself. When I look at the cards you pulled for Group 1, the first thing that stands out is how much emotional evolution is happening in this story. This isn't a reading about someone who simply appears and everything is instantly perfect. This is a reading about someone who enters your life at the exact moment when you're ready to see love differently. It's about a connection that grows slowly, honestly, and with a kind of emotional clarity that feels refreshing after years of confusion or disappointment. The person you will grow old with is someone who doesn't just love you, they help you shift your entire relationship with love itself. They help you see yourself differently. They help you step out of old patterns and into a future that feels grounded, peaceful, and deeply aligned with who you truly are. The Page of Swords upright is the first energy that comes through, and this tells me that the person you will grow old with is someone who approaches life with curiosity and sincerity. They're not jaded. They're not closed off. They're not someone who hides behind emotional walls or pretends to be someone they're not. They're open, observant, and genuinely interested in understanding people. When they meet you, they'll be drawn to your mind first. They'll want to know how you think, what you believe, what you dream about, and what you've learned from your life so far. They're the kind of person who listens closely, who remembers the small things you say, who notices when your tone shifts or when your eyes soften. They're attentive in a way that feels comforting rather than overwhelming. This person may be younger than you, or they may simply have a youthful spirit. They're mentally sharp, quick-witted, and always learning. They might be someone who reads a lot, someone who enjoys researching random topics, someone who loves conversations that go deeper than the surface. They're not afraid to ask questions, even the uncomfortable ones, because they believe that honesty is the foundation of real connection. And that becomes one of the defining qualities of your relationship. Honesty. Not harsh honesty, not bluntness, but a gentle, curious truthfulness that makes you feel safe enough to open up. The Page of Swords also suggests that this person enters your life at a time when they themselves are transitioning. They might be starting a new job, moving to a new place, or stepping into a new version of themselves. They're not fully settled yet, but that's part of what makes them so open to connection. They're in a phase of growth, and they're looking for someone who can grow with them. They're not rigid. They're not stuck in old habits. They're adaptable, flexible, and willing to evolve. And that becomes incredibly important later in the relationship because this is someone who doesn't just love you as you are, they love who you're becoming. Then we move into the Seven of Cups reversed, which tells me that this person has reached a point in their life where they're done with confusion. They've had periods where they didn't know what they wanted, where they were overwhelmed by choices, where they chased illusions or fantasies that didn't lead anywhere. But by the time they meet you in a meaningful way, that fog has lifted. They're clear. They're grounded. They know what they want, and they're ready to choose it with intention. They're not interested in games or ambiguity. They're not looking for temporary excitement or superficial attraction. They want something real, something stable, something that feels like home. This clarity is one of the reasons they choose you. They see something in you that feels genuine, something that resonates with their soul. They recognize your depth, your sensitivity, your emotional intelligence. They see the way you've grown through your own experiences, and they admire your resilience. They're drawn to your authenticity, your honesty, your quiet strength. And when they choose you wholeheartedly. There's no hesitation. There's no second-guessing. There's no wondering if the grass is greener somewhere else. They know what they want, and they move toward it with confidence. The Seven of Cups reversed also tells me that this person has done a lot of inner work. They've confronted their own illusions, their own fears, their own patterns. They've learned to see people clearly without projecting fantasies onto them. And that means they will see you clearly. They won't idealize you in a way that becomes suffocating, and they won't overlook your needs or boundaries. They will love you as a real human being, not as a fantasy. And that kind of love is the kind that lasts. Then we reach the Eight of Swords reversed, which is one of the most healing energies in this entire reading. This card tells me that the person you will grow old with is someone who has freed themselves from old limitations. They've broken out of mental prisons, emotional patterns, or circumstances that once held them back. They've learned to choose freedom over fear. They've learned to trust themselves. They've learned to walk away from situations that kept them small. And because of that, they will help you do the same. This is the kind of partner who encourages your growth. They support your healing. They gently challenge your limiting beliefs. They don't push you or pressure you, but their presence alone is liberating. They create a safe space where you can breathe, expand, and become more fully yourself. They understand anxiety, overthinking, or self-doubt because they've lived through it themselves. They know what it feels like to be trapped in your own mind, and they know how to walk someone out of that space with compassion. This person will be the kind of partner who says things like, "You don't have to be afraid with me," or "You're allowed to take your time," or "I'm not going anywhere." They don't just offer love, they offer emotional safety. And that becomes one of the defining qualities of your relationship. You will feel seen, understood, and supported in a way that feels deeply healing. When the world upright enters this reading, everything shifts into a much larger, more meaningful frame. This card is the moment in the story where the connection between you and this person stops feeling like coincidence and starts feeling like alignment. The world is the card of completion, fulfillment, and destiny. It's the moment when everything you've lived through, everything you've learned, and everything you've healed finally comes together and makes sense. And in the context of this reading, it tells me that the person you will grow old with is someone who feels like the final piece of a long, complicated puzzle. Not because they complete you, but because they complement you. They fit into your life in a way that feels natural, peaceful, and deeply right. This is the kind of connection where you look back on your past and realize that every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment of confusion was preparing you for this. It's the kind of love that feels like coming home after a long journey. There's a sense of ease, a sense of harmony, a sense of mutual understanding that doesn't need to be forced. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to perform. You don't have to shrink or stretch yourself to fit into their world. You simply exist together in a way that feels balanced and whole. The world also tells me that this relationship has a sense of expansion to it. You and this person don't just build a life together. You build a life that feels meaningful. You explore the world together, whether that means traveling, learning, creating, or simply experiencing life side by side. You grow together. You evolve together. You support each other's dreams. You celebrate each other's victories. You hold each other through challenges. There's a sense of partnership here that goes beyond romance. It's a soul-level connection, one that feels both grounding and liberating at the same time. But before this connection fully blossoms, the Four of Cups upright appears, and this is where the emotional depth of your story becomes even more important. The Four of Cups tells me that before this person enters your life in a meaningful way, you may go through a period of emotional numbness or disappointment. You may feel disconnected from love, from hope, or from the idea of a future with someone. You may feel like you've been waiting for something that never arrives, or like the options in front of you never match what your heart truly wants. There's a sense of emotional fatigue here, a sense of being tired of trying, tired of hoping, tired of opening your heart only to be met with disappointment. This is the moment in your story where you may withdraw a little. You may focus on yourself, on your healing, on your own inner world. You may feel like love is something that happens to other people, not to you. And that's exactly when this person appears. Not in a dramatic, sweeping way, but in a quiet, gentle way. They show up with sincerity, with patience, with a kind of emotional steadiness that slowly begins to soften your walls. At first, you may not recognize what they're offering. You may be too tired, too guarded, or too focused on your own healing to see the potential in front of you. But this person doesn't push. They don't demand your attention. They don't try to force a connection. They simply show up, consistently and authentically, until you begin to feel safe enough to open your heart again. The Four of Cups upright tells me that this relationship teaches you how to receive love again. It teaches you how to trust, how to hope, how to feel alive again. This person doesn't just love you, they awaken you. They remind you of what it feels like to be seen, to be valued, to be cherished. They remind you that love doesn't have to be painful or confusing. It can be gentle. It can be steady. It can be real. And then we reach the Ace of Swords upright, which is the moment of clarity that changes everything. The Ace of Swords is the breakthrough, the realization, the truth that cuts through all the noise. It's the moment when you finally see this person for who they are and what they mean to your life. It's the moment when everything clicks. You understand why they feel different. You understand why their presence feels so grounding. You understand why your heart feels safe with them in a way it never has before. The Ace of Swords also tells me that communication is one of the strongest pillars of your relationship. You and this person talk openly, honestly, and respectfully. You don't hide your feelings. You don't avoid difficult conversations. You don't let misunderstandings fester. Instead, you approach each other with clarity and compassion. You express your needs. You listen to each other. You work through challenges together. This is the kind of relationship where problems don't become battles. They become opportunities to understand each other more deeply. This card also suggests that the beginning of your relationship may be marked by a significant conversation or realization. It might be a moment where one of you finally speaks a truth that has been lingering beneath the surface. It might be a moment where you both acknowledge the connection between you. It might be a moment where you decide to move forward together with intention. Whatever it is, it's clear, honest, and transformative. It sets the tone for the entire relationship. Now, let's talk about how you meet this person, because the cards give a very specific emotional context for your first meaningful connection. You may cross paths with them before you're emotionally ready to see them clearly. You may know them casually, or you may meet them during a time when your focus is elsewhere. But the real connection begins when you're in that Four of Cups phase, when you're feeling emotionally withdrawn, introspective, or disillusioned with love. This person enters your life gently, without pressure, without expectation. They may start as a friend, an acquaintance, or someone you interact with casually. But over time, their presence becomes something you look forward to. Their energy feels calming. Their conversations feel refreshing. Their sincerity feels rare. The Page of Swords energy suggests that your early interactions with them are filled with curiosity and conversation. You talk about ideas, about life, about things that matter to you. They ask questions that make you think. They listen in a way that makes you feel valued. There's a sense of mental connection here, a sense of intellectual compatibility that becomes the foundation of your emotional bond. You may not realize it at first, but these early conversations are planting the seeds of something much deeper. As the connection grows, the Seven of Cups reversed energy begins to take shape. This person becomes increasingly clear about their feelings for you. They don't play games. They don't keep you guessing. They don't hide behind ambiguity. They know what they want and they want you, but they also respect your pace. They understand that you're healing, that you're cautious, that you're learning to trust again. They don't rush you. They don't pressure you. They simply show up with consistency and clarity, allowing the connection to unfold naturally. The Eight of Swords reversed tells me that this relationship becomes a turning point in your emotional journey. This person helps you break free from old fears, old patterns, old limitations. They help you see yourself in a new light. They help you believe in love again. Not because they fix you, but because they create a space where you feel safe enough to heal yourself. Their presence is liberating. Their love is freeing. Their support is steady. And then the World upright brings everything together. This is the moment when the relationship becomes something solid, something committed, something lifelong. It's the moment when you both realize that this connection is not temporary. It's not fleeting. It's not something that will fade with time. It's something that will grow, deepen, and evolve for the rest of your lives. As this relationship deepens, something very gentle begins to unfold between you and this person. It's not a sudden shift, not a dramatic turning point, but a gradual softening that happens over time. You begin to notice how easy it is to be yourself around them. You notice how your body relaxes when they're near, how your mind quiets, how your heart feels less guarded. You start to realize that this connection is different from anything you've experienced before. It doesn't drain you. It doesn't confuse you. It doesn't make you question your worth. Instead, it nourishes you. It steadies you. It brings out parts of you that you may have forgotten or pushed aside. This person becomes a safe place for you, and you become a safe place for them. There's a mutual sense of trust that grows naturally, without effort. You don't have to earn their love, and they don't have to earn yours. It's something that flows between you, something that feels organic and grounded. You begin to share more of yourself with them, not because you feel pressured, but because you feel understood. They listen in a way that makes you feel valued. They speak in a way that makes you feel seen. And slowly, the emotional walls you built over the years begin to soften. The Ace of Swords upright plays a huge role in this stage of the relationship. This is where communication becomes the heart of your bond. You and this person talk about everything, your fears, your dreams, your past, your hopes for the future. There's a clarity between you that feels refreshing. You don't hide your emotions. You don't pretend to be okay when you're not. You don't sweep things under the rug. Instead, you face things together with honesty and compassion. This is the kind of relationship where even difficult conversations bring you closer because you both approach them with respect and a genuine desire to understand each other. This clarity also helps you both navigate the early stages of commitment. There's no guessing, no wondering where you stand, no mixed signals. You both know what you want, and you're both willing to work toward it. This person is not afraid of commitment. They don't run from emotional intimacy. They don't sabotage the connection when things get serious. Instead, they lean into it. They choose you with intention. They show you through their actions that they're here for the long haul. As the relationship continues to grow, the energy of the World upright becomes more and more prominent. This is where the connection begins to feel like a partnership in the truest sense. You and this person start building a life together, not just in the practical sense, but in the emotional and spiritual sense as well. You begin to share routines, dreams, responsibilities, and visions for the future. You support each other's goals. You celebrate each other's successes. You comfort each other through challenges. There's a sense of balance and harmony that becomes the foundation of your shared life. This is also the stage where you begin to see how well you complement each other. Where one of you is anxious, the other is grounding. Where one of you is uncertain, the other is reassuring. Where one of you is dreaming big, the other is helping bring those dreams into reality. You don't complete each other. You enhance each other. You bring out the best in each other. You help each other grow in ways that feel natural and supportive. There's a sense of mutual evolution here, a sense that you're both becoming better versions of yourselves because of the love you share. The Eight of Swords reversed continues to play a role in this stage of the relationship as well. This person helps you break free from old fears, old patterns, old limitations. They help you see yourself in a new light. They help you believe in your own strength, your own worth, your own potential. And you do the same for them. You help them release their own fears, their own doubts, their own insecurities. You help them step into their power. You help them feel safe enough to be vulnerable. This mutual liberation becomes one of the most beautiful aspects of your relationship. You don't just love each other, you free each other. As the years go by, the connection between you deepens in ways that feel both profound and peaceful. There's a sense of emotional maturity that develops between you, a sense of understanding that doesn't require words. You begin to know each other's rhythms, each other's moods, each other's emotional landscapes. You can sense when they're tired, when they're overwhelmed, when they need comfort, and they can sense the same in you. There's a quiet intimacy that grows between you, the kind that comes from years of loving someone with patience and tenderness. This is also where the Four of Cups upright transforms into something meaningful. The emotional numbness or disappointment you once felt becomes a distant memory. You begin to realize that the love you share with this person is exactly what you needed, even if you didn't know it at the time. You begin to appreciate the timing of everything, how you met them when you were ready to see love differently, how they entered your life when your heart needed gentleness, how the connection unfolded slowly enough for you to trust it. You begin to understand that the universe wasn't denying you love, it was preparing you for the right one. As the relationship moves into long-term commitment, the Ace of Swords upright becomes the guiding force. You and this person make decisions together with clarity and intention. You talk about your future openly. You discuss your goals, your values, your dreams. You build a life that reflects both of your hearts. There's no confusion, no uncertainty, no fear of the unknown. You face the future together with confidence, knowing that whatever comes your way, you'll handle it as a team. This is the stage where marriage or a lifelong partnership becomes a natural progression. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like the next step in a journey you've already been walking together. Whether you choose a traditional commitment, a spiritual union, or simply a lifelong partnership without labels, the energy is the same. You choose each other fully, intentionally, and with a deep sense of devotion. As the years unfold, the relationship between you and this person settles into a rhythm that feels both comforting and alive. It's not the kind of love that burns out quickly or fades with time. It's the kind of love that deepens, layer by layer, as you move through life together. There's a quiet strength to this connection, a sense of stability that becomes the foundation of everything you build. You begin to realize that this person isn't just your partner. They're your companion, your confidant, your emotional anchor. They're the person you turn to when life feels overwhelming, the person you celebrate with when things go well, the person who stands beside you through every season of your life. The World upright continues to guide the energy of your long-term bond. This is a relationship that feels complete, not because it's perfect, but because it's whole. You and this person create a life that reflects both of your hearts. You build routines that feel comforting, traditions that feel meaningful, and dreams that feel shared. You support each other's growth, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love. You want to see each other thrive. You want to see each other happy. You want to see each other become the fullest versions of yourselves. There's a sense of partnership here that goes beyond romance. You become each other's teammate in the truest sense. You make decisions together. You face challenges together. You navigate the ups and downs of life with a sense of unity that becomes stronger with time. Even when life throws unexpected obstacles your way, you handle them with grace because you know you're not facing them alone. You have each other, and that makes all the difference. The Ace of Swords upright continues to shape the emotional landscape of your long-term relationship. Communication remains one of your strongest pillars. You talk openly about your needs, your fears, your hopes, your frustrations. You don't let resentment build. You don't let misunderstandings linger. You approach each other with honesty and compassion, even when the conversations are difficult. This is the kind of relationship where you can say, "I'm struggling," or "I need support," or "I'm feeling insecure," and know that you'll be met with understanding rather than judgment. This clarity also helps you navigate the natural changes that come with long-term partnership. As you grow older, your priorities shift, your dreams evolve, your perspectives deepen. But instead of growing apart, you grow together. You adapt to each other's changes. You support each other's evolution. You remain curious about each other, even after years of being together. You continue to learn about each other, to discover new layers, to explore new aspects of your connection. The relationship never becomes stagnant because you both remain engaged, present, and emotionally invested. The Eight of Swords reverse continues to play a role in your long-term bond as well. This person helps you stay free from the fears and limitations that once held you back. They remind you of your strength, your resilience, your worth. They encourage you to pursue your dreams, to take risks, to believe in yourself.
And you do the same for them.
You help them stay grounded, confident, and emotionally open. You help them feel safe enough to be vulnerable. You help them release their own fears and step into their power. This mutual liberation becomes one of the most beautiful aspects of your lifelong connection. You don't just love each other, you elevate each other. As the relationship matures, the Four of Cups upright transforms into a symbol of emotional gratitude. You begin to look back on the time when you felt numb, disappointed, or disconnected from love, and you realize how far you've come. You realize that the love you share with this person is exactly what your heart needed. You realize that the universe wasn't withholding love from you, it was preparing you for the right one. You begin to appreciate the timing of everything, how you met this person when you were ready to see love differently, how they entered your life when your heart needed gentleness, how the connection unfolded slowly enough for you to trust it. This gratitude becomes a quiet, steady presence in your relationship. You don't take each other for granted. You don't overlook the small moments of tenderness. You don't forget how rare it is to find someone who truly understands you. Instead, you cherish the everyday moments, the shared meals, the quiet evenings, the inside jokes, the comforting routines. You find joy in the simple things because they're shared with someone who feels like home. As you move into the later chapters of your life together, the energy of the world upright becomes even more significant. This is where the relationship reaches a level of emotional maturity that feels almost sacred. You and this person have built a life that reflects your deepest values. You've created a home that feels peaceful, warm, and filled with love. You've weathered storms together, celebrated victories together, and grown through countless experiences side by side. There's a sense of deep, unshakable trust between you, a sense that no matter what happens, you will always have each other. Growing old with this person feels like settling into a soft, warm space where you can finally exhale. There's no pressure to be anything other than yourself. There's no fear of being misunderstood. There's no anxiety about the future. You've built a life that feels stable, meaningful, and aligned with your heart. You've created a partnership that feels both grounding and expansive. You've found someone who walks beside you through every chapter of your life, offering love, support, and unwavering devotion. This is the kind of love that ages gracefully. It doesn't fade. It doesn't weaken. It deepens. It becomes richer, more nuanced, more intimate with time. You and this person grow old together in a way that feels peaceful and fulfilling. You share memories, stories, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. You look back on your life together with gratitude, knowing that you chose each other every day, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love. As your life with this person continues to unfold, something very beautiful begins to happen beneath the surface of your everyday routines. It's subtle at first, almost unnoticeable, but over time it becomes one of the defining qualities of your connection. You and this person begin to move through life with a shared sense of purpose, even if you never sit down and articulate it. There's a feeling that you're not just building a life together, but that you're walking a path that was always meant to be shared. It's not about destiny in a dramatic sense. It's about alignment. It's about two souls whose growth naturally intertwines. This is where the energy of the world upright becomes even more profound. The world isn't just about completion or fulfillment. It's about integration. It's about taking everything you've learned, everything you've healed, everything you've experienced, and weaving it into a life that feels whole. And that's exactly what happens in this relationship. You and this person don't just love each other. You integrate each other into your lives in a way that feels seamless. Your dreams begin to align. Your values begin to harmonize. Your visions for the future begin to merge into something shared, something meaningful, something that feels like it belongs to both of you. This shared purpose doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It might be something simple, like creating a home that feels peaceful and nurturing. It might be supporting each other's careers or creative passions. It might be building a family, whether that means children, pets, or a chosen family of people you love. It might be traveling, learning, exploring, or simply living a life that feels authentic and aligned with your hearts. Whatever it is, it becomes a thread that runs through your entire relationship, giving it depth, direction, and meaning. The Page of Swords upright continues to influence this stage of your connection as well. This person never stops being curious about you. Even after years together, they still want to understand your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams, your fears. They don't assume they know everything about you just because you've been together for a long time. They keep learning you. They keep discovering you. They keep asking questions, not because they're insecure, but because they genuinely care about your inner world. This curiosity keeps your relationship alive, fresh, and emotionally vibrant. It prevents stagnation. It keeps the connection evolving. And you do the same for them. You continue to explore their mind, their heart, their experiences. You don't let the relationship fall into autopilot. You stay engaged. You stay present. You stay interested. This mutual curiosity becomes one of the reasons your love remains strong over the years. You never stop choosing each other. You never stop learning each other. You never stop growing together. The Seven of Cups reversed also plays a role in this stage of your life. This card is about clarity, focus, and choosing what truly matters. As you and this person build your life together, you both become increasingly clear about your priorities. You let go of distractions, illusions, and expectations that don't align with your truth. You stop comparing your life to others. You stop chasing things that don't bring you joy. You stop worrying about what you're supposed to want or supposed to achieve. Instead, you focus on what feels real, meaningful, and aligned with your hearts. This clarity becomes a guiding force in your relationship. It helps you make decisions together. It helps you navigate challenges. It helps you stay grounded in what truly matters. You don't get lost in fantasies or unrealistic expectations. You stay rooted in reality, but in a way that feels hopeful rather than limiting. You build a life that reflects your truth, not someone else's idea of success or happiness. The Eight of Swords reversed continues to show up as a symbol of liberation. This relationship frees you in ways you may not fully understand until you're living inside it. It frees you from old fears, old patterns, old beliefs that once held you back. It frees you from the idea that love has to be painful or complicated. It frees you from the pressure to be perfect. It frees you from the fear of being misunderstood or unseen. This person sees you clearly, accepts you fully, and supports you wholeheartedly. And that kind of love creates a sense of emotional freedom that becomes the foundation of your shared life. You also help free them. You help them release their own fears, their own doubts, their own insecurities. You help them step into their power. You help them feel safe enough to be vulnerable. You help them believe in themselves. This mutual liberation becomes one of the most beautiful aspects of your relationship. You don't just love each other. You elevate each other. You expand each other. You help each other become the fullest, most authentic versions of yourselves. As the years continue to pass, your relationship begins to take on a rhythm that feels both comforting and deeply meaningful. You develop routines that feel like rituals. You create traditions that become part of your shared identity. You build a home that reflects both of your hearts. You fill your life with moments that feel small on the surface, but become the memories you cherish the most. The way they make your morning tea or coffee. The way you sit together on the couch at the end of a long day. The way you laugh together over something silly. The way you hold each other when words aren't enough. These moments become the heartbeat of your relationship. The Four of Cups upright transforms completely in this stage of your life. The emotional numbness or disappointment you once felt becomes a distant memory. You begin to understand why things didn't work out in the past. You begin to see how every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment of loneliness was preparing you for this connection. You begin to appreciate the timing of everything. You realize that the universe wasn't denying you love. It was guiding you toward the love that was meant for you. And when you look at the person beside you, you feel grateful for every step of the journey that led you to them. The Ace of Swords upright remains a guiding force in your relationship. Communication stays open, honest, and respectful. You don't fall into patterns of avoidance or resentment. You talk things through. You listen. You understand. You approach challenges as a team. This is one of the reasons your relationship lasts. You never stop choosing clarity over confusion, truth over silence, connection over distance. You build a life that feels grounded in honesty, trust, and mutual respect. As you continue to grow older together, your connection deepens in ways that only time can create. You begin to understand each other without words. You can sense their emotions before they speak. You know their habits, their quirks, their vulnerabilities, their strengths. You've seen each other through joy, through loss, through change, through growth. You've held each other through moments of uncertainty, through moments of celebration, through moments of quiet transformation. And through it all, the love between you remains steady, unwavering, and full of grace. This is the life you build with this person, a life that feels peaceful, meaningful, and deeply aligned with your soul. As we move deeper into the energy of this connection, the person you will grow old with begins to take on even more dimension. Their personality becomes clearer, their emotional world becomes more vivid, and the reasons you are drawn to them become easier to understand. This is someone who has lived, learned, and grown in ways that make them uniquely capable of loving you with depth, patience, and sincerity. They are not perfect, but they are emotionally aware, self-reflective, and committed to becoming the best version of themselves, not just for you, but for their own growth as well. The Page of Swords upright continues to reveal important aspects of their personality. This person has a mind that never stops moving. They're curious, thoughtful, and always seeking to understand the world around them. They're the type who notices details others overlook. They pick up on subtle shifts in tone, small changes in mood, the unspoken things that linger beneath the surface of a conversation. They're perceptive in a way that feels comforting rather than intrusive. They don't pry. They don't push. They simply observe with a kind of gentle attentiveness that makes you feel seen. This person is also someone who values truth. They don't like pretending. They don't like playing roles. They don't like hiding behind masks. They want to be authentic, even if that means being vulnerable. They want to understand people, not judge them. They want to connect, not impress. This sincerity becomes one of the most attractive things about them. It's rare to meet someone who is both emotionally open and intellectually curious, someone who listens not just to respond, but to truly understand. And that's exactly who this person is. Their past has shaped them in meaningful ways. The Seven of Cups reverse shows that they've lived through periods of confusion, uncertainty, and emotional overwhelm. There were times in their life when they didn't know what they wanted, when they chased illusions, when they got lost in fantasies or unrealistic expectations. They may have had relationships that were built on projection rather than reality. They may have been drawn to people who weren't good for them, or situations that didn't align with their truth. But they learned from those experiences. They grew. They gained clarity. They began to understand what truly matters to them. This clarity is one of the reasons they're able to love you so deeply. They're not looking for perfection. They're not looking for someone to complete them. They're looking for someone to grow with, someone to build a life with, someone who feels real. They've learned to see people clearly, without projecting fantasies onto them. They've learned to appreciate authenticity over illusion. And when they meet you, they recognize your authenticity immediately. They see your depth, your sensitivity, your emotional intelligence. They see the way you've grown through your own experiences. And they admire you for it. The Eight of Swords reversed reveals even more about their emotional world. This person has overcome significant internal struggles. They've battled self-doubt, fear, overthinking, or limiting beliefs. They've felt trapped in their own mind at times, unsure of how to move forward, unsure of how to trust themselves. But they did the work. They confronted their fears. They challenged their patterns. They learned to free themselves from the mental prisons that once held them back. This inner liberation becomes one of the reasons they're able to love you with such emotional maturity. They understand what it feels like to be afraid, to be uncertain, to be vulnerable. And because of that, they offer you a kind of compassion that feels deeply healing. This person is emotionally intelligent in a quiet, grounded way. They don't overwhelm you with intensity. They don't demand emotional labor from you. They don't expect you to fix them or carry their burdens. They've learned how to hold themselves, how to regulate their emotions, how to communicate their needs. And that emotional stability becomes one of the most comforting aspects of your relationship. You don't have to guess what they're feeling. You don't have to walk on eggshells. You don't have to worry about sudden shifts or unpredictable reactions. They're steady. They're grounded. They're emotionally present. The World upright also reveals something important about their soul. This person has a sense of completeness within themselves. They're not looking for someone to fill a void. They're not searching for someone to fix their life. They've reached a point where they feel whole, where they feel aligned with their purpose, where they feel ready to share their life with someone in a meaningful way. This inner wholeness is what makes your connection so strong. You're not two incomplete people trying to complete each other. You're two whole people choosing to build a life together. This person also has a deep appreciation for growth. They're not afraid of change. They're not afraid of evolution. They understand that relationships require effort, communication, and emotional presence. They're willing to do the work. They're willing to show up. They're willing to grow alongside you. This willingness becomes one of the reasons your relationship lasts. You don't stagnate. You don't fall into patterns of complacency. You continue to evolve together, supporting each other through every stage of life. The Four of Cups upright reveals something tender about their past. This person has known disappointment. They've known emotional numbness. They've known what it feels like to feel disconnected from love. There were times when they felt overlooked, unappreciated, or misunderstood. There were moments when they questioned whether real love was meant for them. But those experiences didn't harden them. They didn't close their heart. They didn't give up on love. Instead, they learned to be patient. They learned to trust the timing of their life. They learned to believe that the right connection would come when both hearts were ready. This emotional history is part of what makes them so gentle with you. They understand what it feels like to be cautious, to be guarded, to be unsure. They don't rush you. They don't pressure you. They don't demand more than you're ready to give. They offer their love with patience, with understanding, with a kind of quiet devotion that feels safe. They know that real love takes time. They know that trust is built slowly. They know that healing happens in layers. And they're willing to walk that journey with you. The Ace of Swords upright reveals how they show love. This person loves through clarity. They love through communication. They love through truth. They're not afraid to express their feelings. They're not afraid to have difficult conversations. They're not afraid to be vulnerable. They speak from the heart, not in dramatic declarations, but in steady, honest words that make you feel secure. They tell you what they feel. They tell you what they need. They tell you what they hope for. And they listen when you do the same. Their love is not loud, but it is unwavering. It's not flashy, but it is deeply sincere. It's not rushed, but it is intentional. They love you with a kind of clarity that cuts through confusion, a kind of honesty that builds trust, a kind of presence that makes you feel safe. They love you in a way that feels like truth. This is the person you will grow old with, someone who has lived, learned, healed, and grown in ways that make them uniquely capable of loving you with depth, patience, and devotion. Someone who sees you clearly, values you deeply, and chooses you wholeheartedly. As the years continue to unfold, the life you share with this person becomes something that feels almost like a tapestry. Every moment, every memory, every challenge, every joy becomes a thread woven into the fabric of your shared story. And when you look back on it, you realize that the beauty of your relationship isn't found in the big milestones alone, but in the countless small moments that accumulated over time. The way they bring you a blanket when you're cold. The way you rest your head on their shoulder during quiet evenings. The way you both instinctively reach for each other's hands when crossing the street or walking through a crowded place. These gestures become the language of your love, a language that grows richer with every passing year. Growing old with this person doesn't feel like time slipping away. It feels like time deepening. It feels like every year adds another layer of understanding, another layer of tenderness, another layer of connection. You begin to see each other through a lens that only long-term love can create. You know their habits, their rhythms, their emotional patterns. You can sense their mood from the way they breathe, from the way they walk into a room, from the way they sit beside you. And they can sense the same in you. This intuitive understanding becomes one of the most comforting aspects of your relationship. You don't have to explain yourself all the time. You don't have to justify your feelings. You don't have to hide your vulnerabilities. They know you. They understand you. They accept you. The home you build together becomes a sanctuary. It's not just a place where you live. It's a place where your love lives. The walls hold your laughter. The floors remember your footsteps. The rooms carry the echoes of conversations that shaped your lives. There's a sense of warmth in the way sunlight filters through the windows, a sense of peace in the way your belongings sit comfortably in their places, a sense of belonging in the way your shared life fills the space. Even the quiet moments feel meaningful. Sitting together on the couch, reading in silence, cooking dinner side by side, folding laundry while talking about your day. These moments become the heartbeat of your life together. As you grow older, you begin to appreciate the stability this person brings into your life. They are consistent. They are reliable. They are present. They don't disappear when things get hard. They don't withdraw when emotions run deep. They don't shut down when life becomes overwhelming. Instead, they lean in. They hold you. They listen. They support you. And you do the same for them. This mutual support becomes the foundation of your long-term bond. You face challenges together, not as two separate individuals, but as a team. You comfort each other through losses. You celebrate each other's victories. You adapt to each other's needs as life changes. And through it all, your love remains steady. The world upright continues to guide this stage of your life. It shows that your relationship becomes a space where both of you feel whole. You don't lose yourselves in each other. You don't sacrifice your individuality. Instead, you integrate your lives in a way that feels balanced and harmonious. You support each other's dreams, even as they evolve. You encourage each other's growth, even when it requires change. You create a life that reflects both of your hearts, a life that feels meaningful and aligned with your shared values. As you move into the later years of your life together, your connection takes on a softness that only time can create. There's a gentleness in the way you speak to each other, a tenderness in the way you touch, a quiet devotion in the way you care for one another. You begin to understand that love isn't just about passion or excitement. It's about presence. It's about showing up. It's about choosing each other every day, even when life becomes unpredictable. And this person chooses you with a devotion that never wavers. You may find yourselves reminiscing more often, talking about the early days of your relationship, laughing about the things you used to worry about, reflecting on the challenges you overcame together, remembering the moments that shaped your bond. These conversations become a way of honoring your journey, a way of acknowledging how far you've come, a way of celebrating the life you built together. And every time you look back, you feel grateful, not just for the love you share, but for the timing, the growth, the healing, and the alignment that brought you together. The Ace of Swords upright continues to influence your relationship even in old age. Communication remains clear, honest, and respectful. You don't fall into patterns of silence or resentment. You talk things through. You listen. You understand. You approach challenges with maturity and compassion. This clarity becomes one of the reasons your relationship remains strong throughout your entire life. You never stop choosing truth. You never stop choosing connection. You never stop choosing each other. The Eight of Swords reversed also continues to play a role. This person helps you stay free from the fears and limitations that once held you back. They remind you of your strength, your worth, your resilience. They encourage you to keep growing, even in the later years of your life. They help you stay open to possibility, to joy, to new experiences. And you do the same for them. You help them stay grounded. You help them stay hopeful. You help them stay connected to their own inner truth. This mutual liberation becomes one of the most beautiful aspects of your lifelong partnership. As you grow old together, your love becomes something that others notice. People see the way you look at each other, the way you speak to each other, the way you move through life as a team. They see the tenderness in your interactions, the ease in your connection, the depth in your bond. They see the way you support each other, the way you laugh together, the way you hold each other through difficult moments. And they feel inspired by it. Your love becomes an example of what long-term partnership can look like when it's built on honesty, clarity, patience, and emotional maturity. There's a moment, and it may happen quietly, without fanfare, when you realize that this person is not just the love of your life, but the companion of your soul. You realize that your connection goes beyond romance, beyond partnership, beyond the practical aspects of building a life together. You realize that your souls chose each other long before you met, long before you understood what love truly meant. And in that realization, there is a sense of peace, a sense of gratitude, a sense of completion. This is the person you will grow old with. Someone who loves you with clarity, with intention, with patience, and with a depth that stands the test of time. Someone who sees you clearly, values you deeply, and supports you wholeheartedly. Someone who walks beside you through every chapter of life, offering love, understanding, and unwavering devotion. As your story with this person settles into its lifelong rhythm, there's a quiet sense of gratitude that begins to fill the space around you. It's the kind of gratitude that doesn't need to be spoken aloud, because it's felt in the small moments, the way they reach for your hand without thinking, the way they look at you when they're proud, the way they soften when you're tired, the way they laugh with you like you're the only person in the world who truly understands them. These are the moments that define your life together. Not the grand gestures, not the milestones, but the everyday tenderness that accumulates over years and becomes the foundation of a love that lasts. Growing old with this person feels like living inside a story that unfolds gently, one chapter at a time. You share a home that feels warm and lived in, filled with memories, inside jokes, and the quiet comfort of knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You build a life that reflects both of your hearts, a life that feels peaceful, meaningful, and deeply aligned with who you are. You support each other through the changes that come with age, through the challenges that life inevitably brings, through the moments that test your strength and deepen your bond. And through it all, the love between you remains steady, unwavering, and full of grace. This is the kind of relationship where you look back after decades and realize that the person sitting beside you is not just your partner, but your companion, your confidant, your mirror, your anchor. You've grown together, healed together, laughed together, and weathered storms together. You've shared dreams, built traditions, and created a life that feels like a sanctuary. And even in the quietest moments, when you're simply sitting together in silence, there's a sense of connection that speaks louder than words ever could. Now, as we move into the final guidance from the spirit guides, the energy shifts into something even more tender. The guides are gentle here, almost whispering, as if they want to make sure the message lands softly on the heart. Their guidance isn't about warning or urgency. It's about reassurance. It's about reminding you that this connection is not something you need to chase, force, or fear. It's something that unfolds naturally, in its own time, in its own way, when both hearts are ready. The first message they bring through is about timing. They want you to know that this connection arrives when you are emotionally prepared to receive it. Not when you're perfect, not when you've healed everything, not when you've figured out every part of your life, but when you've reached a point where your heart is open enough to recognize real love when it appears. They want you to trust that the delays, the disappointments, the moments of emotional numbness were not signs that love was passing you by. They were part of your preparation. They were shaping you into someone who can receive the kind of love that lasts a lifetime. The guides also want to remind you that this connection is built on clarity. The Ace of Swords upright is not just a card in your reading, it's a message from them. They want you to speak your truth, to honor your needs, to communicate openly, and to trust your intuition. They want you to know that honesty is what brings this connection into alignment. When you speak from the heart, when you express your feelings without fear, when you allow yourself to be seen, you create the space for this person to step into your life fully and authentically. Another message they bring through is about releasing old fears. The Eight of Swords reversed is a sign that you are stepping out of old patterns, old limitations, old beliefs that once kept you small. The guides want you to continue that process. They want you to trust that you are not the same person you once were. You've grown, you've healed, you've learned, and you are ready for a love that reflects the person you've become, not the person you used to be. They want you to let go of the fear that love will repeat itself in the same painful ways. This connection is different because you are different. The guides also want to speak to the Four of Cups upright. They know that there have been moments when you felt overlooked, forgotten, or emotionally disconnected. They know that you've had times when you questioned whether love was meant for you. But they want you to understand that the emotional stillness you experienced was not emptiness, it was recalibration. It was your heart preparing itself for something real. They want you to trust that the love coming toward you is not something you will miss. It's not something you have to chase. It's something that will arrive gently, patiently, and unmistakably. There is also a message about recognizing the person when they appear. The Page of Swords upright shows someone who is curious, observant, and sincere. The guides want you to pay attention to the people who approach you with genuine interest, who ask thoughtful questions, who listen deeply, who show up consistently. They want you to notice the ones who see you clearly, who value your mind, who appreciate your depth. This person may not enter your life with fireworks or dramatic intensity. They may enter quietly, gently, with a kind of sincerity that feels refreshing. The guides want you to trust the subtle connections, the ones that grow slowly and steadily, the ones that feel safe rather than overwhelming. The final message from the guides is about trust. They want you to trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust the timing, and trust the unfolding of this connection. They want you to know that you are not walking toward this love alone. They are guiding you, supporting you, and preparing the path ahead. They want you to release the fear that you will make the wrong choice or miss the right person. They want you to know that this connection is aligned with your soul, and when something is aligned with your soul, it cannot pass you by. They want you to remember that love is not something you have to earn. It's something you allow. It's something you receive. It's something that grows naturally when two hearts are ready. And your heart is ready. Your journey has shaped you into someone who can love deeply, who can communicate clearly, who can build a life with intention, who can grow alongside another soul with grace and devotion. The guides want you to hold on to that truth. They want you to trust that the love you are moving toward is not fragile. It is steady. It is grounded. It is meant to last. And when it arrives, it will feel like coming home. When I tune into the energy of Group 2, the first thing that comes through is this feeling of someone who has been carrying emotional weight for a long time. Not in a dramatic, tragic way, but in that quiet, familiar way where you get used to holding things that were never really yours to hold. The Five of Cups reversed and the Eight of Cups reversed together tell me that the person you will grow old with is someone who has spent years trying to move on from things that hurt them, but they kept getting pulled back into old memories, old patterns, or old relationships that didn't give them what they needed. It's like they've been walking in circles emotionally, not because they're lost, but because they're loyal. They don't let go easily. They don't walk away without trying. They don't give up on people, even when those people have already given up on themselves. This is someone who has loved deeply, sometimes too deeply. They may have stayed in relationships long after the emotional connection faded, simply because they believe things could get better. They may have tried to fix people who didn't want to be fixed. They may have been the one who kept the relationship going while the other person drifted. They may have been the one who forgave too quickly, who compromised too much, who hoped too hard. And because of that, they've been hurt. Not in a way that broke them, but in a way that shaped them. In a way that taught them what they don't want. In a way that taught them what they need. In a way that prepared them for you. The Lovers reversed adds another layer to this story. It shows that this person has had a complicated relationship with love. They may have struggled with choosing partners who are aligned with them. They may have been torn between their heart and their logic. They may have been in relationships where the chemistry was strong, but the compatibility wasn't. They may have been in situations where they felt like they had to choose between themselves and the relationship. And for a long time, they chose the relationship. They chose the other person. They chose to sacrifice their own needs to keep the peace. They chose to stay even when they knew they should leave. They chose to love even when they weren't being loved in the same way. But the version of them you grow old with is not the version who is stuck in those patterns. It's the version who has finally learned how to choose themselves. It's the version who has finally realized that love shouldn't require them to shrink. It's the version who has finally understood that they deserve a partner who meets them halfway. When you meet them, or when your connection deepens, you will sense that they are in the middle of a transformation. They are stepping out of an old emotional identity and into a new one. They are learning how to let go of what hurts. They are learning how to stop returning to situations that drain them. They are learning how to trust that something better is coming. The Five of Wands reversed shows that this person is tired of conflict. They are tired of drama. They are tired of relationships that feel like battles. They want peace. They want harmony. They want a connection where communication replaces conflict, where understanding replaces assumptions, where compassion replaces defensiveness. They want a partner who listens, not someone who argues for the sake of being right. They want a relationship where both people feel safe enough to be honest. They want a love that feels like a sanctuary, not a test. And then we have the Page of Swords upright, which brings in this spark of curiosity, honesty, and mental connection. This person is incredibly observant. They notice everything. They listen deeply. They ask questions because they genuinely want to understand you. They're someone who values communication, not just as a tool for solving problems, but as a way of building intimacy. They want to know how you think. They want to know what you dream about. They want to know what scares you, what excites you, what inspires you. They want to understand your inner world, and they will share their inner world with you too. They will open up in ways they haven't before. They will trust you with their thoughts, their fears, their hopes. They will let you see the parts of themselves they used to hide. But the Empress reversed shows something tender and vulnerable about them. This person has struggled with self-worth. They have struggled with feeling like they are enough. They may have grown up in an environment where affection was inconsistent, or where they had to earn love by being useful, responsible, or emotionally strong. They may have been the caretaker in past relationships, giving more than they received. They may have been the one who held everything together while their partner drifted. They may have been the one who sacrificed their own needs to keep the peace. Because of this, they sometimes doubt whether they deserve a love that is nurturing, stable, and abundant. They may question whether they are lovable in their softness. They may struggle to receive affection without feeling guilty. They may have moments where they pull back, not because they don't care, but because they fear being a burden. And this is where your connection becomes something truly beautiful, because you will be the person who helps them rewrite that story. Not by fixing them, not by rescuing them, but by loving them in a way that feels steady and real. You will show them that love doesn't have to be chaotic. You will show them that affection doesn't have to be earned. You will show them that they don't have to perform to be valued. And in return, they will show you a kind of devotion that is rare. They will show you what it feels like to be chosen every day, not just in the beginning. They will show you what it feels like to be understood, not just admired. They will show you what it feels like to be loved by someone who has learned, through experience, how precious real connection is. This is someone who grows with you. They don't stagnate. They don't cling to old habits. They don't resist change. They evolve. They reflect. They apologize when they're wrong. They communicate even when it's uncomfortable. They don't run from conflict, but they also don't create unnecessary drama. They want a peaceful home. They want a relationship where disagreements lead to understanding, not resentment. They want a partnership where both people feel safe enough to be honest. What's really striking about this person is how they show up in love once they feel safe. They're not someone who loves halfway. They're not someone who gives you a little bit and keeps the rest hidden. They're not someone who plays it cool or pretends not to care. Once they trust you, once they feel like the connection is real, they open up in a way that feels incredibly genuine. They become expressive, attentive, thoughtful. They become someone who wants to understand you, not just love you. They become someone who wants to grow with you, not just be with you. They become someone who wants to build a life with you, not just share moments. And the beautiful thing is that this openness doesn't fade over time. It doesn't disappear once the honeymoon phase ends. It doesn't get replaced by distance or complacency. If anything, it deepens. This is someone who becomes more affectionate as the years go on. Someone who becomes more emotionally present. Someone who becomes more invested in the relationship. Someone who becomes more committed to your happiness. They're the kind of partner who still reaches for your hand decades later. The kind of partner who still asks how your day was, not out of habit but because they genuinely want to know. The kind of partner who still looks at you with softness, even after years of shared routines and responsibilities. But let's talk about how this relationship actually feels, because that's something the cards are very clear about. With the Five of Wands reversed, there's this sense of calmness around your connection. Not boredom, not lack of passion, but a kind of emotional ease that comes from two people who don't need to fight to be heard. You won't feel like you're walking on eggshells. You won't feel like you have to defend yourself. You won't feel like you're competing for attention or affection. Instead, you'll feel like you're on the same team. You'll feel like you're working together, not against each other. You'll feel like disagreements are opportunities to understand each other better, not reasons to pull away. This person doesn't want to win arguments. They want to understand you. They want to find solutions. They want to make sure both of you feel seen and valued. They're not afraid of difficult conversations, but they don't create them unnecessarily. They don't escalate things. They don't use silence as punishment. They don't weaponize vulnerability. They communicate with clarity and kindness, even when they're upset. And that creates a relationship where both of you feel emotionally safe. The Page of Swords upright also shows that your connection has a strong mental component. You stimulate each other intellectually. You challenge each other in healthy ways. You inspire each other to think differently, to grow, to explore new ideas. Conversations with this person never feel forced. They flow naturally. You can talk for hours without running out of things to say. You can go from deep emotional topics to silly jokes to philosophical questions without missing a beat. There's a sense of curiosity between you, a desire to understand each other more deeply. And that curiosity keeps the relationship alive. It keeps things interesting. It keeps you connected. Now, the Empress reversed is important because it shows that part of your journey together involves healing. Not in a heavy, exhausting way, but in a gentle, supportive way. This person has moments where they doubt themselves, moments where they feel insecure, moments where they question whether they're enough. And you will help them see themselves more clearly. You will help them recognize their own worth. You will help them understand that they don't have to earn love by overgiving. You will help them feel safe enough to receive love without guilt. But it's not one-sided. They will help you heal too. They will help you soften in places where you've had to be strong for too long. They will help you trust in ways that felt risky before. They will help you feel supported in ways you didn't realize you needed. They will help you feel valued in ways that go beyond words. They will help you feel chosen, not just wanted. And that mutual healing becomes one of the foundations of your relationship. It becomes something that strengthens your bond over time. This is the kind of relationship where both people grow. Not because they're trying to fix each other, but because they feel safe enough to evolve. You'll notice that you become more confident, more grounded, more emotionally open. You'll notice that you start trusting yourself more. You'll notice that you start believing in your own worth more deeply. You'll notice that you start making choices that align with your happiness, not your fears. And they will experience the same transformation. They will become more secure, more expressive, more self-assured. They will start believing that they deserve love that feels good. They will start embracing their own softness. They will start nurturing themselves in ways they never did before. And as the years go by, your relationship becomes something incredibly stable. Not stagnant, not predictable, but stable in the best way. Stable in the sense that you know you can rely on each other. Stable in the sense that you know you're both committed to the relationship. Stable in the sense that you know you're both willing to put in the effort. Stable in the sense that you know you're both growing in the same direction. This is someone who will stand beside you through every chapter of life. Through the exciting beginnings, through the uncertain transitions, through the quiet routines, through the unexpected challenges. They won't disappear when things get hard. They won't shut down emotionally. They won't withdraw. They will show up. They will communicate. They will support you. They will choose you. And when you imagine growing old with someone, this is the kind of person you want beside you. Someone who still laughs with you. Someone who still listens to you. Someone who still holds your hand. Someone who still sees you as their partner, not just their spouse. Someone who still values your connection. Someone who still feels grateful to share their life with you. Your spirit guides want you to know that this relationship is not something you have to chase. It's not something you have to force. It's not something you have to earn. It's something that unfolds naturally when you're ready to receive it. They want you to trust that the timing will make sense. They want you to trust that everything you've experienced so far has prepared you for this love. They want you to trust that you are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing out. You are exactly where you need to be. One of the most beautiful things about this connection is how naturally it becomes a partnership. Not in the sense of roles or responsibilities, but in the sense of two people who genuinely want to build a life together. There's no pressure, no forcing, no trying to fit into some idealized version of what a relationship should look like. Instead, it unfolds in a way that feels organic. You both bring your strengths. You both bring your vulnerabilities. You both bring your dreams. And somehow, without even trying, those things start to weave together into something that feels shared. This person is someone who values stability, not in a rigid or controlling way, but in a grounded, dependable way. They want a home that feels peaceful. They want routines that feel comforting. They want a life that feels balanced. They're not chasing chaos. They're not looking for constant excitement or drama. They're looking for something real, something lasting, something that grows with time instead of burning out quickly. And that's exactly what your connection becomes. You'll notice early on that they're very intentional with you. They don't breadcrumb. They don't disappear. They don't leave you guessing. They communicate clearly. They show up consistently. They make space for you in their life. They prioritize you without making you feel smothered. They're the kind of person who remembers the little things you say in passing. The kind of person who checks in on you because they genuinely care. The kind of person who wants to know how you're feeling, not because they're trying to fix anything, but because they want to understand you. And as the relationship deepens, that intentionality becomes one of the pillars of your connection. You'll feel secure with them, not because they're perfect, but because they're present. Not because they never make mistakes, but because they take responsibility when they do. Not because they always know the right thing to say, but because they're willing to listen and learn. That willingness to grow with you is what makes this relationship so strong. The Page of Swords upright also shows that this person is someone who values honesty. They don't hide things. They don't play games. They don't pretend to be someone they're not. They're straightforward in a refreshing way. They'll tell you what they're thinking. They'll tell you what they're feeling. They'll tell you when something is bothering them. They'll tell you when they're excited about something. They'll tell you when they're scared. And they'll encourage you to do the same. That level of openness creates a bond that feels incredibly intimate. But let's talk about the emotional healing that happens between you, because that's a major theme in this reading. The Empress reverse shows that this person has struggled with feeling worthy of love. They may have been in relationships where they were taken for granted. They may have been with partners who didn't appreciate their efforts. They may have been the one who gave more than they received. They may have been the one who held everything together while the other person drifted. And because of that, they sometimes question whether they deserve a love that feels nurturing and abundant. You will help them heal that, not by trying to fix them, but by loving them in a way that feels steady and genuine. You'll show them that they don't have to earn affection. You'll show them that they don't have to prove their worth. You'll show them that they don't have to be perfect to be loved. And in return, they will help you heal too. They will help you soften in places where you've had to be strong for too long. They will help you trust in ways that felt risky before. They will help you feel supported in ways you didn't realize you needed. This mutual healing becomes one of the most powerful aspects of your relationship. It's not heavy. It's not draining. It's not something that feels like work. It's something that happens naturally because you both feel safe with each other. You both feel seen. You both feel valued. You both feel understood. And that emotional safety allows you to grow in ways you couldn't have grown alone. As the years go by, your relationship becomes something incredibly stable and fulfilling. You'll notice that you communicate better than you ever have in past relationships. You'll notice that you feel more grounded. You'll notice that you feel more confident. You'll notice that you feel more emotionally open. And they will experience the same transformation. They will become more secure, more expressive, more self-assured. They will start believing that they deserve love that feels good. They will start embracing their own softness. They will start nurturing themselves in ways they never did before. This is the kind of relationship where both people grow. Not because they're trying to fix each other, but because they feel safe enough to evolve. You'll notice that you become more confident, more grounded, more emotionally open. You'll notice that you start trusting yourself more. You'll notice that you start believing in your own worth more deeply. You'll notice that you start making choices that align with your happiness, not your fears. And they will experience the same transformation. And when you imagine growing old with someone, this is the kind of person you want beside you. Someone who still laughs with you. Someone who still listens to you. Someone who still holds your hand. Someone who still sees you as their partner, not just their spouse. Someone who still values your connection. Someone who still feels grateful to share their life with you. Your spirit guides want you to know that this relationship is not something you have to chase. It's not something you have to force. It's not something you have to earn. It's something that unfolds naturally when you're ready to receive it. They want you to trust that the timing will make sense. They want you to trust that everything you've experienced so far has prepared you for this love. They want you to trust that you are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing out. You are exactly where you need to be. They also want you to know that this relationship will not be built on fantasy. It will be built on reality. It will be built on communication, honesty, and mutual respect. It will be built on shared values, shared goals, and shared emotional investment. It will be built on a foundation that can withstand time, change, and growth. What your spirit guides really want you to understand is that this relationship is meant to feel different from what you've experienced before. It's not meant to feel like a roller coaster. It's not meant to feel like a guessing game. It's not meant to feel like something you have to chase or hold together with sheer effort. It's meant to feel steady. It's meant to feel grounding. It's meant to feel like something you can trust. And that trust becomes the foundation of everything you build together. They're also showing me that the timing of this connection is incredibly important. This person couldn't have shown up in your life earlier, not in the version of themselves that you're meant to grow old with. They needed time to learn certain lessons. They needed time to let go of certain people. They needed time to understand their own patterns. They needed time to heal from old wounds. They needed time to grow into the person who can love you the way you deserve to be loved. And you needed time too. You needed time to understand your own worth. You needed time to learn how to set boundaries. You needed time to figure out what you want in a partner. You needed time to grow into the version of yourself who can receive this kind of love without shrinking or doubting. Your guides want you to trust that nothing has been wasted. Every relationship you've had, every heartbreak you've experienced, every moment of confusion or disappointment or longing has shaped you. It has taught you what you don't want. It has taught you what you need. It has taught you how to recognize real love when it appears. And the same is true for them. They've been shaped by their past too. They've learned from their mistakes. They've grown from their heartbreaks. They've evolved through their challenges. And all of that growth is what makes your connection so strong. When you come together, it won't feel like two people trying to fill each other's voids. It won't feel like two people trying to fix each other. It won't feel like two people trying to recreate something they lost. It will feel like two people who have done enough healing to meet each other with clarity, honesty, and openness. It will feel like two people who are ready for something real. It will feel like two people who are choosing each other, not out of fear or loneliness, but out of genuine connection. Your guides are also showing me that this relationship will bring a lot of emotional growth, not just in the beginning, but throughout your entire life together. You'll continue learning from each other. You'll continue inspiring each other. You'll continue challenging each other in healthy ways. You'll continue supporting each other through new chapters. And that ongoing growth is what keeps your connection alive. It's what keeps the relationship from becoming stagnant. It's what keeps you both feeling fulfilled. This person will be someone who encourages your dreams. They won't dismiss your ideas. They won't make you feel unrealistic. They won't hold you back. They'll want to see you succeed. They'll want to see you happy. They'll want to see you living a life that feels meaningful to you. And they'll support you in ways that feel practical and emotional. They'll be the person who listens when you're brainstorming. They'll be the person who reassures you when you're doubting yourself. They'll be the person who celebrates your wins with genuine joy. They'll be the person who reminds you of your strength when you forget it. And you'll do the same for them. You'll encourage their growth. You'll support their dreams. You'll help them see their own potential. You'll remind them of their worth. You'll be the person who believes in them even when they're struggling to believe in themselves. And that mutual support becomes one of the most beautiful aspects of your relationship. Your guides are also emphasizing that this relationship will feel emotionally safe. Not in a boring way, but in a way that allows you to be your full self. You won't feel like you have to hide parts of yourself. You won't feel like you have to tone yourself down. You won't feel like you have to pretend to be okay when you're not. You won't feel like you have to earn their affection. You'll feel accepted. You'll feel understood. You'll feel valued. And that emotional safety allows you to open up in ways you haven't before. This person will be someone who listens deeply. They won't interrupt you. They won't dismiss your feelings. They won't make you feel dramatic or unreasonable. They'll want to understand you. They'll want to know what you're feeling. They'll want to know what you need. And they'll respond with empathy, not defensiveness. That kind of emotional presence is rare, and it's one of the reasons your connection becomes so strong. As you grow older together, your relationship becomes something incredibly rich. You'll have shared memories, shared challenges, shared victories, shared routines, shared dreams. You'll have inside jokes that still make you laugh decades later. You'll have traditions that feel sacred to both of you. You'll have moments of quiet connection that feel just as meaningful as the big milestones. You'll have a life that feels full, not because it's perfect, but because it's shared with someone who truly sees you. Your guides want you to know that this relationship is meant to be a source of comfort, not confusion. A source of strength, not stress. A source of growth, not stagnation. A source of joy, not anxiety. They want you to trust that you are moving toward a love that feels nourishing, not draining. A love that feels grounding, not destabilizing. A love that feels like home. They're also reminding you that you don't have to rush. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to worry about missing your chance. What's meant for you will not pass you by. This connection is aligned with your path. It's part of your soul's journey. It's something that unfolds when both of you are ready, not a moment sooner or later. And when it does unfold, it will feel natural. It will feel like something that fits into your life without disrupting your sense of self. It will feel like something that enhances your life, not something that takes over it. It will feel like something that brings out the best in you. It will feel like something that reminds you of who you are at your core. Your guides want you to hold on to that vision. Not in a way that creates pressure or expectation, but in a way that reminds you of what you deserve. You deserve a love that feels steady. You deserve a partner who shows up. You deserve a relationship that grows with you. You deserve a connection that feels emotionally safe. You deserve someone who sees your worth. You deserve someone who chooses you every day. And that is exactly the kind of person you will grow old with. Someone who has lived, learned, and evolved. Someone who values peace, communication, and emotional honesty. Someone who is curious, thoughtful, and sincere. Someone who has struggled with self-worth, but is ready to receive real love. Someone who will love you with devotion, tenderness, and consistency. Someone who will walk beside you through every chapter of life. Someone who will choose you, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love.